What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Paige Turner, and I'm back with another Paige Eats secret. I'm about to show you how to do a loaded baked potato today. So let's get into it.
Hey, money, I can be your best dream. I appear in your best dream.
All right, y'all, let's get into this because we already know that, we hungry and we ain't come here to play no games. So today I'll be making a side of a buffalo chicken asparagus, and bell peppers will be used in my recipe. So I like to crack some fresh pink Himalayan salt into the water that I'm cleaning my vegetables in. Now, you can get this pink Himalayan salt from your local dollar store, your local 99-cent store, or you can even get it off Amazon. Now, I'm just going to go in and rinse some lukewarm to cold water over my vegetables, and I'm going to find the weak points in my asparagus. Now, the weak points can often be easy to point out because, it's the soft spot that just you crack it right on evenly when you're cracking your asparagus. Here's an example of how I find my weak point. Push it on both ends where it snaps the easiest, baby. That's what you got to do. You go ahead and snap it. Boom. And then you keep going and you do it to every single one of your asparagus because, that part's too hard. You don't want it anyway. It does not cook well. And trust me, it do not taste good. Okay? Next step is going in and making sure you're cleaning your meat as well. Today we'll be using steak and chicken, so you want to go ahead and make sure you're fully cleaning that. Wash out the tub in between services between what you're cleaning. I did not use the tub to clean the meat because I did not want it to mix, so the tub was only used for the vegetables and the potatoes. Now we have to clean off the potatoes because potatoes can come a little bit dirty, and although we love them in their beauty and all they got to do with it going on with their life, we don't want no dirty potatoes because we don't want to eat that. So I'm going in and I'm rinsing off my potatoes, washing it, getting in there, rubbing it like it's a booty cheek and making sure you're getting all the dirt off. And then I'm going to, you see how dirty that water is? You almost ate that. And then I'm going to let this water drain out. And I'm going to do this a couple of times until my water stops turning like that muddy, icky, nasty color. And you want to just do this to your efficiency until you feel like you clean and you can eat it. Because I promise you, the one thing to kill a kitchen, don't nobody want to eat no dirty food.
I would like to get to know if I could be what kind of girl that you took me down for. 'Cause when I look at you, I feel something tell me.
Now I am going to go in and take 1/4 a slice of butter and put it into a microwavable bowl. Preheat my oven to 350 degrees. Take a pan of my choosing and put aluminum foil over it. Now, with my butter, I want to put it into the microwave at 20 seconds. You don't want it to start popping because then it could be a little high for the microwave. And you can choose to put a paper towel over the butter so it does not splash and do the most in your microwave like it be doing when it be cooking too high. Okay, so now once you have that butter melted, as you see in the video, this is a good consistency for your butter. This is how you want it to be around. This is how you want it to feel. Now, an alternative to this method is the butter spray. You can get this from the 99-cent store. I like to do them both because it allows my potatoes to be really, really soft and just crumbly. It's real good. And so I spray the aluminum foil with the butter spray, and then I go in and I massage that freaking melted butter into my potatoes so good. You're finna see me. Hold on. You about to see it in 3, 2, 1. So you're going to take your potato and you're going to get some of that butter in your hand a little bit. Let me adjust my camera. Stab that thing, stab it like it's your ex-boyfriend. And then you're going to get all the way around and making sure you got as many tiny holes in your potato as you want, because you want that, them juices to sear through. You want that potato to really, really cook. Now I'm going to slaver it in butter, just all over, massaging it into the potato, making sure I'm getting all the areas, okay? And then I'm going to move on to my next one. Once you do all of your potatoes, today I will be doing a serving for 4 people. So I'm going to make 4 big potatoes. And you stab it thoroughly. You put the butter on it. repeat. Now when we're finished getting our potatoes all buttery up, we want to do the same thing to our aluminum foil. So I like to do about 3 sprays in 3 different areas. And then you want to wrap the potato up like it's a baby, a newborn baby. You want to make sure it's tight and snug, but not suffocating. Okay, that is the plan. And that aluminum foil that you laid down to put your potatoes on to hold it earlier, you're gonna use that too, because we're not putting nothing to waste. Nothing is being wasted. You're gonna tear that in half, take your 2 potatoes, wrap it in that aluminum foil again like a baby. You see how it's poking out on the side? You would never leave your child like that, so don't leave your potato like that. Go ahead, get another cover, roll it all over it, make sure it's snug but not suffocating, because that is where we want our potatoes to be, surrounded by that yummy butter. Is gonna make the inside of that potato so soft, so good, so easy to eat, and I promise you it's gonna be worth it taking those extra few minutes. Now from wrapping to cutting, we're about to cut down all our vegetables, separate them, do what we need to do with all of that. So you are going to take your bell peppers, get you a cutting board. I got my cutting board from I believe it was Burlington, and it was just in the core. It's a bamboo cutting board, and I got my knife from the local Wally World. You know, we love it. And so you're just going to cut the top off your bell pepper, and then I like to just pull out the middle, making sure that I'm getting majority of the seeds as I possibly can get. I'm going to cut the bell pepper in half. Make sure you're watching your fingers at all times, and then I'm gonna pop that little booty out again at the end, and then make small slits across the bell pepper, as uniform as you can get them. But if you can't get them form or uniform, that's okay. Just make sure that you're cutting them into slits, because this is going to make it easier for you to dice them. That's what we want in the end, to dice our bell peppers. And so once you get all your slips and you watching your fingers, don't be out here cutting yourself, you're going to turn the bell peppers around. I like to grab them in a bundle like this, and then I just chop down. Watching my fingers, make sure you fold your fingers over in this. I was not listening to my own advice here. So, do better than me. Listen to me. Don't do what I do. Okay, exactly. Listen to me. Do what I'm saying, not what I'm doing right there in a second. Okay, so then you're going to continue going on with your entire bell pepper for this. Now, if you're not going to use the whole bell pepper and you know that you don't like them like that, please cut accordingly. Don't use the whole thing if you don't want it, you don't like it. I love me a good old crispy, yummy crunch into bell pepper. So, I'm cutting till I can't cut no more, and until I get as many as I want. So I'm going to do this with the red, the yellow, and yes, the orange.
Won't you fill me up till my cup's overflowing? I'm so anxious just to feel the silence. It's so quiet, but I hear you saying to me, baby, say our time, we're making up time. The time you wasn't with me waking up. Now you never said I couldn't miss your touch. I need to distance myself from you. I was just alone with you.
Once you cut all your bell peppers into dice like shown earlier, you're just going to gather them and put them in a bowl of your choosing. I just chose my little white bowl to get them out the way. As you can see here, I'm using my knife to kind of scoop them up and helping me pick up all my bell peppers at one time. Make sure you're being careful with this method. Always be careful when using a knife in the kitchen. But I'm just scooping halfway, gathering it with the knife, and then putting in the bowl. And I am going to do this, then clean off my little cutting board so we can move on to the next step. Now we're going to move on to preparing our water for our macaroni and cheese, because yes, every good loaded baked potato, guess what, got mac and cheese in it. So we're about to put 3.5 cups of water into a pot of your choice. If you're making a lot, then use a big pot. If you're not, use a small one. Come on now. And then we're going to put 2.5 cups of chicken broth on top of that water. So the bottom layer is water. The top layer is chicken, reduced sodium chicken broth. That's what we like to do. This would allow the noodles to cook in that chicken flavor, but also allow that water to let the noodles boil the way that they need to boil. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to make sure it is heavily salted. Like you almost want it to be on the verge of almost kind of tasting like salt water. And that's going to allow your noodles not to stick to the bottom of your pan, them to boil currently. All the good things that we love when making mac and cheese. So you see how much salt I'm putting in this water, baby? Don't be scared. Put some more. Don't be scared. Put some more. That's what you want to do, all right? And then we're going to bring that temperature up to about a medium on your stove. That's about halfway through. My stove say medium, high, low. I don't know how to tell y'all no other way. Just put it on medium, halfway. And we're going to let that water come to a boil. Then when it does a little bit, I'm going to pour my Kraft mac and cheese. Y'all already know we dealing with the Kraft original cheese. We love it, love to see it, love to use it, everything. We're going to pour it in the water. I'm using 1 box because I just want enough to, make my loaded baked potato. It's not a side today. It's in the main dish, okay? So you don't need as much as your mama told you back in the day. 1 box is fine. You take about 1/4 of butter again, plop it in there, and let it boil with them noodles. Now we're going to come back to our cheese. We're about to cut up our slices of cheese that we will be using later to make the sauce for our mac and cheese. So you're just going to go ahead and cut off a block. I like to go about 4 to 6 knife slits in. So I put my knife at the very end and then I count in 6 slices and then I cut where that stops and then I pull it all the way out and I cut it fully off. And then you're going to get your block of cheese, just put it to the corner somewhere out of sight. I like to put it in a Ziploc bag after I cut it off just to have it near, because then we're going to bring it out later and cut it into smaller slits. Now you want to grab a medium-sized pan. This is mine to give you an example, and put a stick of butter in it. 1/4 is all the way. You're going to take a plate, put a little bit of turmeric, paprika, seasoned salt, and buffalo chicken seasoning. And then you're going to sprinkle it over the top of your chicken as so. You want to blend those seasonings together and sprinkle it over your chicken after you have cleaned your chicken from earlier. And then we're going to flip those chickies over. Just flip them all over. And then we're going to season them again. And make sure you're seasoning thoroughly, but not too much. Now, in the end, I did add a little bit of garlic salt to my seasoning just because I just wanted a little bit of taste of that garlic that we love to taste. And so once you get your chicken all seasoned up with your seasonings, as you see now, you're just going to pick up 1 slice at a time and massage the seasonings into the chicken. I like to do this with about 2 fingers, and I just take it up and down the chicken. It goes really quickly. You just want to massage it to where the seasoning is all over the whole chicken tender and nothing, no space, nothing is left out, because this is going to help it really marinate into that chicken when you're not doing a full marination session. Now, we don't have measurements for seasoning our chicken because I like to think it's up to the person. Some people like a lot of seasoning, some people like barely any. But if you need a starting point, I like to do my seasonings about 2 to 3 teaspoons. Less when it comes to like paprika and chili pepper. I do 1 teaspoon, and then more when it comes to like freshly cracked pepper and some of the seasoning is just not as hot. Like that buffalo chicken seasoning, I definitely went in with 2 teaspoons. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Just go off base what you like. You know what you like. You know what you like to eat. You know how you like to taste your seasoning. Okay, now we're going to come back to that pan that we put that 1/4 slice of butter in earlier, and we're going to make sure it's hot. Now, I like to test it by just dipping my chicken up in there a little bit and see if I hear that sizzling sound that we love. If you don't hear that, then I give it a little more time to warm up. Once I hear it, I layer my chicken in there accordingly, side by side. I don't want to overcrowd the pan because it's not going to give the chicken enough room to cook, but I do want to get as many in there as I can without it being overcrowded. Once you feel like you got a good layer or a good number, just make some room, a little more room, move them around a little bit and see if you can get like 1 or 2 in there without being crowded. And this is a good space to be in. Once they have a little wiggle room, just like they used to do in school, make sure your arm lengths apart. Now I'm going to take some chopped celery and onion that I got from Walmart as well, that comes already pre-chopped, and I'm going to sprinkle that into my pan with my chicken. Now I did go off 1/2 a handful, and I'm going to sprinkle it all over the chicken.
Hold me till I scream.
right, next you're going to take your chicken broth and you're just going to pour half a cup into the pan with your chicken and let it simmer and cook with your chicken. This is going to give. Now we're going to move on to our cheese. For our macaroni and cheese, you are going to put like a cup and a half of milk into a pan, and then you are going to place your blocks of cheddar that you cut earlier into the same pan. Just place it into that. If you need to cut it smaller to fit them all in, please do so. Sprinkle some chili pepper as well as a little bit of garlic and a paprika on top, and you're going to let that simmer. And every 5 minutes you're going to give it a stir, and once it starts to boil a little bit, you're going to give it a stir closer in time. Now once the chicken is done cooking, you're going to pull that from the pan and add your steak to the exact same pan. You can keep the cooked bell peppers in there. Everything you threw in with the chicken when the chicken was cooking, keep in there. That chicken broth should be gone because it fully cooked with the chicken. So you're going to use this pan and you're going to sprinkle my same amount of butter into the pan. Put it in there, baby, and you're going to stir the meat and the butter together. Now the chicken is done and it's time for us to start making it shredded. But I like to take some honey and drizzle it all over the entire piece of chicken, okay? Get it in there good, because if you don't, you're not going to taste the honey. And hot and sweet always work good together. So I like to do one drizzle, toss my chicken over, and then go back in with another, and we're just gonna tear this chicken apart. Take 2 forks and just go in and pull it apart as good as you possibly can. This is me shredding my chicken. Now if you want to just go in and cut the pieces down smaller and then shred it that way, that might help if you're not used to like shredding the chicken like this. But I just found it easy. I just scrape off and pull apart, scrape off, pull apart, scrape off, pull apart, repeat.
Stranger, it's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky ruin my vibe. Usually I don't do this often, but since recruiting isn't an option due to unusual rain and thunder.
Now we're going to come back over to our steak that's been searing on the stove, and it's getting that color that we love to see. Now I like to add my spinach to my steak, and I just go in, and honestly I have no measurement. I just throw as much spinach as I like. I'm a spinach person. I love a lot of it, so I add a lot of spinach. Even after this video, I had put me a little bit more spinach in it, and then I'm just gonna stir it up with my meat. Just get all of the juices in the spinach, stir it, toss it around the pan, and just make sure that spinach starts to hit the bottom of that pan so it can cook. Now once the baked potato is about, let's say, 95% cooked, I'm going to take one out of the oven, the extra one that I made. I'm going to slice it in half, and I'm going to just tear the walls of the potato apart. Just break them down completely, and then I am going to take the entire potato out of the aluminum foil, put it on the cutting pan, and just go to town chopping up this potato. Just chop it, cut it all up, slice it, smash it as much as you possibly can, and it should be a consistency. You can leave the brown pieces in there. I do, just because I like them. I like to eat the skin of the potato. Not everybody does, but if you like, you can remove the skin of the potato. I like to keep mine in. I just chop it all together, and once I get a good smashed consistency, I'm going to put it in a bowl, and I'm going to set it to the side. And we're circling back to the mac and cheese, what everybody loves to see. I did take my mac and cheese, and I went ahead and poured a cup of heavy whipping cream, the queso that comes in the Kraft box, and then the cheese we melted on the stove with the milk earlier. And you're just going to mix until all of your noodles are covered with all of the cheese, okay? So if your macaroni and cheese don't sound like this, really went wrong somewhere on the steps, but it's okay, sis. We're going to fix that. Now, on top, once your noodles are fully covered in the cheese, we're going to add some shredded blended cheddar cheese with Parmesan, and you're going to put that on top and mix it in to your mac and cheese. Now, once again, you want to stir as many times as you need to get all of the noodles covered. Then you're going to go in with some garlic salt, spring it on top as much as you feel or need. I did do heavy-handed sprinkle a little bit here. And then we're going to mix that into our noodles, as well as we're going to go in with some seasoned salt. We're going to stir it fully and thoroughly and get into that mac and cheese as much as you can. Make sure you're not missing a spot, because the number one thing that'll kill mac and cheese is half seasoned noodles, and it just tastes like a bowl of cheese. Okay, so now this is my little spice. I like to add a few drops of the red hot sauce. I usually use the Louisiana, but I just ran out, so I went in with the red hot because, it's just as good, y'all. Don't be like that. And then I'm going to pour my mac and cheese on top of the potatoes that I put in the bowl earlier. Now we are ready to start preparing for the layering effect for our stuff. So the first layer is potato. The second layer is mac and cheese. The third layer, we're going to go ahead and add in our steak and spinach and bell pepper mixture. Now that it's fully cooked and off of the stove, you're going to add that into it, and we are about to get ready to prepare our chicken to be added at the top as well. Now, since we were making a blend of barbecue chicken, I'm going to go in with my sweet baby barbecue braised, baby, because that be hitting. We already added a drizzle of honey, so now we're about to add some drizzles of barbecue sauce. Now, you see, I was very generous because we love a barbecue queen, and I'm not scared of no sauce, okay? So now I take a Ziploc bag, and I put it over my hand because I hate the way that the sauce make my hand feel. And then we're going to go in with our sweet bourbon glaze, just 2 or 3 drops of it. I am not generous with that stuff because, baby, I promise you, it is strong and it's going to overpower all your food, okay? So then you're going to take a Ziploc bag and just marinate it into the chicken, massage it into the chicken. You got to show your food some love. That's what be making it, good like your grandma do. Your grandma used to cook with love, and that's why her food tastes like that. That's the difference between your grandma food and your food, because you be in there cooking with attitude and your food gonna show. And then you're gonna add that chicken to the bowl that you put the potatoes, the mac and cheese, and the steak into. You're gonna bring that bowl back. Look at that. Ooh, it look good. And then you're gonna stir it all together after you add your onions and celery. And then a few more fresh bell peppers, because we like to keep it fresh up in here. We like to keep it light. We love the colors of the bell peppers. We love the taste. I'm a bell pepper person, like I told you in the beginning. So, I'm going to keep sprinkling until I can't sprinkle no more, okay? And now that I have all of that into my bowl, I want to start getting it mixed all together to be able to ready to stuff those bell peppers. So go ahead and stir. Make sure you bring in the potatoes to the top and putting the meat to the bottom. And you want an even mix of all of your ingredients, because that's going to ensure that every single one of your potatoes get the same amount of meat, same amount of cheese, same amount of potatoes, everything. And it's going to start looking like a little bit of slop that your mama used to make when y'all ain't had no groceries in the kitchen. But that's cool. That's how it's supposed to look. Now you want to take a pan and layer it with that 1/4 of butter. We love the 1/4 butter. And slap your asparagus in there. Now I'm going to take a cup of water and pour it in there with the asparagus. And then season that water with my Buffalo Ranch seasoning. I got this from my 99-cent store. It's a really good seasoning. I love the way it tastes. So y'all go ahead and try it out. As you can see, your girl was running out, so she had to slam a damn and try to get it out this tube. Okay, so then I seasoned the water all over, and you're going to stir the asparagus in that water in the pot. Now we're going to come back to our baked potato, because she's ready. She's ready to be made. She's ready to be eaten. She's ready to be cut open. I'm going to make a slit straight down the middle of my baked potato. And I'm going to go in with a small layer of just the mac and cheese, not the blend, just the mac and cheese straight out of the pot. Put a small layer on the bottom of your baked potato. And then you're going to start to join the baked potato sides and the mac and cheese together. Just kind of crunch the baked potato down a little bit so that potato really mixes with that mac and cheese. That's what's going to make the difference. It's going to give it layers. It's not going to seem or taste so one-dimensional. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to put the blend that I made on top of that. So you want to take a big scoop and plop it on there. The messier it look, honestly, the better. The potato is the one thing you can get away with it looking a hot ass mess, and it still look good, okay? So I plopped it on there. I'm making sure it's even, spreading it out, doing what I need to do for it to look like food porn. You see how it fell off that? You ain't gonna get that on no daily basis, all right? But clean the area around that's not on the plate, because you don't want that looking a hot mess. Once I do that, I'm going to go in, I'm gonna sprinkle my blend of cheese on top, and I'm going to prepare to put this back in the oven for about 10 seconds on 350 degrees. We never turned our stove off, okay? So 10 seconds, and put that straight in the oven and just let that cheese melt. Now we're back to the asparagus. And you ready for this? We about to make our buffalo chicken asparagus. The asparagus has cooked and softened as we like to see it. Now we're going to go in with our seasonings. I'm going to bring some chili pepper. I like a little bit of kick. If you're not a hot person, that's okay. Don't feel peer pressure. And then I'm going to go in with some paprika as well. Adding the paprika to the pan. I'm struggling to get out there, but we're going to get it out there. I'm going to go back in with my buffalo chicken that I seasoned my water with, some garlic, salt. Just season everything right into the pan, because it's going to start to sizzle, and it's going to give the asparagus a little bit of caramelization kind of, and it's going to get a little bit of crunch on the outside, and that's what you really want. Now, this the kicker. Take that chicken wing sauce that you get from the dollar store or Walmart. Sprinkle it. Be generous. Don't be scared. Sprinkle it on top of that asparagus all the way through. And then while the asparagus finish cooking, you're going to toss the asparagus in the pan. Now, our baked potato is ready to be pulled out of the oven after the 10 seconds that it was in there for our cheese to melt. Then we're going to take some Parmesan cheese, grated, and sprinkle it right on top. You can grate your own, or you can buy it already grated. I just bought it already grated, so this could be an easy and quick fix. Then you're going to add your sour cream to the top. I like to do it in a little fancy pattern because it makes me feel like I did something. So I'm just going to take my squeezed sour cream and just put it all the way on there. On the top of my sour cream, I like to sprinkle a little bit of parsley just on top of the sour cream. And then I'm going to go in, plate my asparagus, and baby boom, we got a meal, okay, honey? And that's the end of this. If you've made it this far, guess what? You made it to the end of this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so when I post a video, you can tell. Make sure you hit that bell. Make sure you hit that bell. All right, y'all, it's Paige Turner. Oh,
I need to be your best dream. I appear in your best dream. Na, na, na.